Hey, collective, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to be here with you tonight, always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at the energy for the upcoming week via the tarot astrology, any channeled messages that come through. And I'll also incorporate some Ayurvedic or holistic wellness practices that we can incorporate as well to really just kind of strengthen, honor, support our body, our mind, our soul. All right, with that, let's get into it. Happy Sunday, happy Leo season. Since we last talked, we've moved out of Cancer season into Leo. We had Mercury went to direct. Mercury was in retrograde. Now it has gone direct. But Saturn has gone retrograde. So that leaves Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto in retrograde. And all three of those planets will be roughly in retrograde through the end of the year-ish. Give or take a few. So this week, it's going to be a really interesting week. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of tension on the horizon. We're going to have a full moon in Aquarius on the 29th. And it definitely is, full moons naturally enliven tension, frustration, extremes because of the opposition between the sun and the moon. But they also kind of highlight those things in efforts to really help us see, help us have clarity, understanding around where the disconnects are playing in our life. And with this full moon in Aquarius, like I said, there is a lot of tension. I'll make sure to do an upload around that, if not go live. To be determined, I'll put that on the schedule if I don't just put out a video. But stay tuned for that. But yeah, so with the tension, it's kind of giving us two different options. And I feel like it's a lot about, there are options that are going to really influence our next however long. It is a long-term influence is what I should say. I'm not going to necessarily put a specific number on it because everybody is going to be a little bit different depending on where they're at in life, etc., the karmas that they are grappling with at the current time. But it is an energy of empowerment of self. Aquarian energy is not afraid to be one's authentic self, even if it is a little awkward, weird, funny, etc. It has a very inventive energy around it, and this nature of marching to the beat of their own drum, right? It is about thinking outside of the box. It does have a lot of creativity surrounding it as well. And with how the full moon is faring, it definitely is highlighting, again, those places where, like, when things are coming up, when they're showing us that people or situations are not what we thought, then we have some options on the table, right? Options about whether we're going to continue to force the issue or to create something that, hopefully everyone can adjust and be a little bit more flexible around. But we also have to know when that's not going to happen. When we are coming into contact with situations that are just dead ends, and no matter how we work it, how we adjust it, etc., it ends up in the same space. So we want to be mindful of those things. Definitely kind of take note of where those situations are popping up in your life. Like I said, there is a lot of tension. Chiron also goes into retrograde on the 1st of August. And it's really interesting with the retrogrades that we're having this week. Saturn just went into retrograde yesterday, today. And with Chiron going into retrograde, Saturn's all about work on self, and Chiron is the wound healer. It's what helps us evolve. It's what helps us, even though the type of spiritual evolution isn't always the most popular, it really does set us up for success. It helps us be better versions of ourselves. And that's what I'm all about here at this channel. Life is not stagnant. We can't stay stuck in one place really for too long. The only constant is change. And it's really empowering when we're able to be open, flexible to that change in order to receive the abundance that we desire or how we want our life to look. And so that's also why I like to start these readings off with an energy cleansing, just to cleanse out the energy, set the tone, set the vibe for the reading. It's a really good time to set your own intention as well, especially if you have come in with something on your heart, on your mind, something you would like Spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over, be open to receive. It's a really great way to personalize these collective readings. Also, if you're live, feel free to drop comments below. I love to interact, engage. If you have questions about the energy or you want me to dive a little bit deeper into something or you have your own intuitive insights, definitely drop comments below. I love the exchange. I also offer a variety of healing and wellness services, and readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you're interested in more of that rebalancing of self, alignment of your mind, your body, your soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. Because when we are aligned in self, when we're really just honoring ourselves, when we know our wants, our needs, that's where we're able to tap into our happiness, our abundance, our fulfillment. And I would love to help support that for you in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. I am working on my website. Side note, I've been saying this a lot lately, but hopefully we'll be up and running soon. Until then, just shoot me an email and I would love to and look forward to connecting. All right. With that, collective, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so I may see and understand the messages clearly. Help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, love. Okay, smoky one today. Good cleansing. I feel like we need it. I feel like what I was picking up is like you're running out of steam is what I was hearing. You're running out of steam around something. Maybe in your life you felt like you've had to be a warrior. And specifically in the way that like you've had to stand up for yourself, stand up for what's right or what's right for you, even if it is falling on deaf ears. And you know, with all the planets in retrograde, it does resurface things that haven't been addressed or where there are loose ends that need to be tied up. Some of that is coming through where we're actually like doing that physically with people, with situations. And sometimes it's a little bit more on the energetic front, especially if you've been getting a lot of messages within your dreams or just intuitive insights or, you know, even a situation, a past situation pops up in your mind and your soul that you're trying to sort through. But it feels like something has felt exhausting or overwhelming or like you have had to have a lot of endurance around. Very similar to a warrior. Maybe you feel like you've been channeling that warrior spirit in your own life. The outlaw. I love it. This is like so appropriate for Aquarius energy because the outlaw is just that. It is an outlier. It doesn't need to be a part of the team, a part of the club. If anything, it is an energy that's very okay, comfortable, confident being in self. And that spirit is saying to trust that. Like it's better to rely and trust on you in this moment in time. Also, because we are seeing a lot of tension throughout the week, we don't want to make any rash or risky choices. Even if you feel very motivated to stand up for yourself, or you do kind of have to put yourself in a position where you are going against the grain. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but you don't want it to be like too overt. I don't know. I was hearing overt, but I don't think that's the right word. It's like grandiose. You don't want to make a huge to-do about it. You want to make sure that you're maintaining your exit or keeping your distance, your boundaries up with certain people, certain situations in a diplomatic way. In a way that like things can't be misconstrued is what I'm hearing. But also in this value of like, you don't want to be the perpetrator, so to speak. And yes, I think that this is going to be a week where we do have to be really self-reliant, especially when the tension pops up. Beginning of the week is all about being the alchemist. So I think this is a lot about being very aware of your surroundings, who and what you're dealing with, and having the correct expectations is what I'm hearing. Because with clarity, with those expectations, it brings this understanding of how you need to work with the energy in your environment right now. And I think some of that is not super apparent on the surface. We have our ego responses, those knee-jerk reactions that, yes, totally could be justified, could be valid, could even be the right response in certain dynamics. But there's also this like value of like playing it smart, you know, not being so overt about how you are standing up against people, which I know sounds counterintuitive because I don't want to sit here and preach like being a doormat. I'm not about that at all. You know, I've been a doormat many times in my life and it never gets you anywhere. If anything, it's like not a fun place to be. And I would never want to, promote that at the channel or through the readings. But I think this is more about, again, like playing it smart, being strategic, being calculated as to how you're doing things, not to manipulate, not to take advantage of the situation. But like I'm hearing it in terms of like staying on top of your game, staying a couple steps ahead so you're not getting, pulled back into energies that you don't want to be a part of. Because it does look like there are going to be things. We get the revolutionary midweek. It does look like there are going to be situations where you do need your power, where you are going to have to stand up for things. But I feel like you want to be able to exercise your power at the time that you want to, not because someone else is trying to provoke or bring something out within you. Okay, nice. Reclaim. This is a really powerful energy. It looks like it's going to be a little bit rocky. I mean, we already see that with the astrology, and I'll get into that a little bit more as we deal with the tarot. But underworld is in your blocked energy. So this is a lot about dealing with the shadow self. And unfortunately, the things that do come up during retrograde seasons, even full moon, is it forces us to look at places that we feel really put down, or there's certain things that we're like chained to, that we're bind to, that we're subservient to. Maybe even like you are feeling like a doormat in certain situations. And not that this is a revolution against that, because I don't see that. I see that this is something bigger. This is something greater for you. This is something that you're looking to stay with you for long term. You're not trying to just do something to get it over and done with, per se. Again, why it needs to be handled with some level of delicacy, because you do have the control, you do have the power in your hands with this alchemist. And I feel like awareness is going to serve you really well this week, just in terms of how the energy's playing out. The tension, the frustration that we're seeing, it's not necessarily on the surface. Yes, we're still seeing some fighting between Venus and Mars energy. Venus is in Virgo right now, so it really likes stability. It likes balance. It's all about investing in self-love, self-care. And Mars is kind of over and done with the slow-paced energy. Mars has definitely been put down lately for the past several months. And it does feel like it's getting a little bit, maybe not too out of control, but it definitely wants to see some momentum. And I feel like the momentum that you're looking for isn't as apparent on the surface. Hence those messages that have been coming through of like, just don't bulldoze your way ahead. Like, yes, I think that you are going to have to go against the grain. And there might be times, moments this week where it doesn't really feel very comfortable. But again, I see this more as you like picking and not only picking and choosing your battles, but picking and choosing when you're going to say and do what you're going to say and do. So beginning of the week, there are some things that are changing, that are shifting your perspective around how this magician energy really needs to manifest in your life. Magician, alchemist, very similar energies. It's all about using what you have, the tools that you have in your environment to cultivate like what you're actually going after. So I see that changing a little bit. It's not that you're changing your decision, like your mindset, but you're changing your approach. And I feel like that's really important because I feel like there might be ways that you've approached things in the past that haven't really shook out how you wanted, or you're not getting the attention. That's what I'm hearing. Like, people aren't listening. People, and especially if you are kind of working with some trickier dynamics where you feel like I'm expressing what I think, what I feel, what I need, and it's just falling on deaf ears. That's very much what this energy feels like. But it's also pushing you to rethink how you are showing up for yourself first and foremost. And maybe the way that you have been trying to manifest certain things is more outwardly related, right? Like you're more concerned about the external environment or what that looks like for you, and not as much about yourself, you know? And not that that's good, bad, right, or wrong. I think sometimes when we're manifesting, right, like we want certain things, we have certain goals, ideas in mind. And then when something, or maybe you have a couple options, when they come along and it feels good and it feels like it's fitting exactly what you want, sometimes we forget to check in with self and say like, is this really in alignment with me? And I feel like you do have some things where there's some options, but you do have some things that are being taken away that it feels like a disappointment, but it's not like a big disappointment, right? Like, so I don't want to fearmonger. When I'm saying taken away, it just feels like some options get pulled off the table. It brings a renewed sense of independence and autonomy. And I feel like this feels really good for you in the beginning of the week, even though certain things aren't necessarily panning out. Like it looks like you're going to have to go back to the drawing board around certain energies. And that might be kind of hard because I feel like this energy has been coming up a lot for us lately. Like there is the search for something magical, something extraordinary. And it feels like the mundane isn't fulfilling. Like where you're seeking change, you want magic to happen in those places. Like you just want it all to work out. And it looks like something has come your way beginning of the week where it feels really, or this is something you're already dealing with. Like it feels pretty assured. Like you think you have the cat in the bag. Is that the right phrase? I don't know. But like you're very confident in something that you have going on for yourself. But something happens beginning of the week that makes some changes around this thing. We do have some tension with the moon, which moon beginning of the week is in Capricorn. So we're seeing, again, places with this Four of Cups. Like you might have some experiences that feel magical, or it's like the right thing and you align with it and you're like, yeah. And then something kind of falls through is what I'm seeing. Especially with this Five of Cups, you're feeling left out of something. And it could even just be something that you're not really expecting. Like, a little bit ostracized. Maybe you are left out of the group to some capacity. And you're trying to figure out how to deal with that. Because we do have the Nine of Pentacles. Let's see what this is about. So we have Five of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles, and it is an energy of independence, of autonomy. it just feels like you're not getting the kind of feedback that you really do want. Something's making you wait. Something's making you wait longer than what you had anticipated. And I'm not really sure if you are wanting to wait around, especially with this Magician in your blocked energy. There's something that's happening beginning of the week where it just feels a little bit off, like something isn't landing. We have the Moon and Mercury tensely aspected to the fortune point. And so it feels like I said, something's amiss. Like you have an offer on the table and then it gets rescinded or something along those lines, right? Where you end up finding yourself in a place where you're maybe not back at square one, but it does kind of feel like that a little bit. Excuse the air going on in the background. I'm going to clarify this. 9 of Pentacles, King of Swords. You're trying not to take anything too personally, though. You're trying to be very level-headed. And I think we're getting this a lot more moving out of Cancer season because Cancer season was very emotional. So it was easy to take a lot of things personally, but you don't really want to go down that road is kind of what I'm seeing. Like, I feel like if anything, there is something that shifts in the beginning of the week for you that does feel disappointing, but you're not necessarily ruling it out. You're just putting it on the back burner, or maybe you're getting put on the back burner in a situation that feels like it could actually be a really good thing, but you don't really know. You know, you're not going to know until things unfold a little bit more. And it might even feel like you're being taken for granted, or you're not really what once seemed magical, it's kind of lost its luster, is what I'm hearing. 10 of Pentacles, home, family, building your legacy. Like something just doesn't get up and running. And again, I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing, because with this full moon, which is happening midweek, and we're getting the revolutionary, I feel like whatever's kind of being put on the side, whatever's being put on the back burner, and again, this feels like this is not your call, it's someone else's decision. I feel like you have the opportunity to continue, like, don't stop there is what I'm hearing. Continue to push forward, continue to keep your options open, stay flexible. Don't put all your eggs in one basket is what I'm hearing. Because we have this 5 of Cups energy midweek where something feels a little bit disappointing. And again, I'm consistently drawn to this rainbow on the side that she can't even see, that she's not really paying attention to. And sometimes we forget that, like, when something doesn't work out, it's not necessarily a bad thing. If anything, or often, it is because it is an act of protection on some level. And we have been getting that energy pop up a lot in our readings in regards to, like, just making sure that we are protecting self, protecting our investments, protecting how we are moving forward. Because, again, there's good and bad in the astrology right now. I know that's an oversimplification. We have a full moon magic triangle, which is happening. But again, this also highlights the good and the bad. And I feel like this is also the last full moon of the February eclipse season, the eclipse season that started in February. And then we'll start another eclipse season next month. So when we're dealing with eclipse seasons, it's remembering where you were at that time, how far you've come, the advancements that you have made, but then also where you need to continue to diversify. And I feel like that's exactly what this energy is. Like, it feels like something felt a little bit more assured than what it actually was, and maybe it's falling flat, or you're seeing it's not going to be moving at the rate as to which you would like. There's that 5 of Swords again. And it leaves you, I don't know, like, I feel like there's not a lot of communication between you and whatever this situation is. So there are a lot of things up in the air. There's a lot of unknown. You might even be scratching your head around certain things. We're getting the Four of Wands in the blocked energy. Page of Swords, messages, communications coming in. Four of Wands and Ten of Pentacles do relate back to family. So you might, well, and full moons do as well. Full moons often highlight our more interpersonal relationships, home, family, children, partners, etc. Okay, so let's see what this Five of Swords is midweek. Jupiter is in opposition to Pluto, and that can be where our ego or extremism gets in the way, especially like how I was talking about a little bit earlier, that need to kind of exercise our power or justice. We want to make sure that, again, we're doing that in a way that's not too extreme. It's very easy to do. So we have Knight of Pentacles clarifying the Five of Swords. Someone's putting up some heavy boundaries. I feel like someone is breaking away from the pact. There's our Knight of Swords. You might even be coming head to head with someone this week, or it climaxes around the full moon. And we have the Nine of Wands. It feels a little messy. It feels a little, if you do have a fight with someone, it's going to be a little bit messy. It feel, because there's a lot of inflexibility. There's a lot of inflexibility on maybe both ends. I don't know. I feel like on your end, it does look like you're trying to make rational choices and decisions that are best for everybody, or that are best for the end goal in mind. Even if someone might not like what you're saying or what you're suggesting, you're still trying to do it in a way that helps everybody, at the end of it all. But it's not, someone's not perceiving it as that. Someone's perceiving it as though you're like directly trying to attack them, or I don't know, like you're not being fair. They can't understand why you're not being fair. This is someone who assumes, so there's our Five of Cups again. Double confirmation. This is someone who's like, maybe assumes that like you should be more flexible with your opinions or your judgments about them. Like they don't deserve it, so why are you doing this kind of thing? And I feel like it does look like someone's definitely being a little bit retaliatory this week, midweek, which makes a lot of sense with all the tension we have going on. Most of the tension as well is around the outer planets. So that is our spiritual evolution. It's how we become better versions of ourselves. And when people can't rise above their ego, it often lands them in positions where they're inflexible, stubborn, unwilling to move, that type of vibe. And I think it is causing you to make choices, take action, make choices in a way that's, it is helping the situation ultimately, but it also feels like you're challenging it at the same time. Like I feel like the decisions that you're making are challenging the dynamic. They're challenging this person, individual, whomever you're dealing with. In a way that I think that they are transparent about, but again, it's a really unrealistic expectation, whatever this person is requiring from you. Yeah, and it's the same BS, especially if this is something you've been around. This isn't anything new under the sun. We've been getting this energy a lot where people are just kind of messing up or tripping over themselves or promising they're going to do something better, and then they fall into the same habits and patterns. And that goes back to that spiritual evolution I was talking about. And with this full moon specifically, we have the option to make choices. Like you can do it better. You can be better. And I'm not saying this message for you specifically. There's always areas in our life that we can be a little bit better, grow, be stronger, etc. And I do feel like you're in alignment to some capacity around that. It does look like even if this other person's situation doesn't agree, it does look like you have a really good handle on things, and your ideas have some weight to them. They, it is something that feels like it could be very beneficial for the whole. But there's something around this where, again, someone doesn't like that, and so they move into this self-protection mode. They're really struggling to kind of see outside of their own ideas, their own opinions. And so it puts you in a position that might feel a little bit awkward, uncomfortable, or where you do have to make big choices, choices that feel a little bit more honoring to you. I'm going to balance this out with one more card here. And that might be challenging to some capacity. There's our Hangman, again, double confirmation. I mean, I think that you're understanding, like, maybe a key to the puzzle is exposing itself this week, because it does look like even if someone's being difficult or hard to work with or whatever, or pushing back, it's making more sense to you as to why. And someone might even be bringing this clarity. Like, they might not be the most mature person in the room, but it does look like there is a conversation that helps bring some understanding. It helps you understand from a different perspective and give a little bit more grace where grace is due. But I also don't really see them extending that back to you. Or this feels like maybe an ultimatum or something like that, right? Like, if you don't do this, then I'm not going to do that. It has a lot of stubbornness around it. And you're more focused on, like, how can we find solutions? How can we make this a better thing? How can we, work together? You might not, yes, you still have boundaries. Again, it's not like you're being a doormat, but maybe someone expects you to be that way, right? And that's where it's requiring a lot of courage for you to stand up for what you think, what you feel, what you believe. And this is where that tactfulness is really important, that you're not just doing something, like, you might even know that it's truth inside of you. And even if you say something harsh or something that someone might have a hard time accepting, it doesn't mean it's wrong, or that it's not truth. But I don't know that you're gonna have people or situations that are really receiving that this week. Being in Leo season, there's a lot of egoic energy going on right now. And I think maybe humans never want to be wrong, but there is this value of, like, wanting to be right or needing to kind of push the agenda to whatever capacity that is. But at the same time, what I'm seeing is whatever disconnect you're dealing with, it's being exposed. And yes, there are parts of it that are helping you understand why this person's situation is doing what they're doing. But at the same time, the exposure, the insight that you're getting into this dynamic is also helping you say, but wait a second, right? Like, is this really where I want to be at? Or do I need to have different kind of boundaries? Or, is this person actually being flexible, or are they just kind of, being difficult, being stubborn because they don't want to understand, or they're refusing to understand? And like I said, I'll definitely upload a video for the full moon and see how this shakes out a little bit more specifically. But it leaves you in a position where, whatever's happening, it's putting you in a position that you're feeling more empowered to take action. And this might just be because of someone's response, or maybe you are dealing with someone who really doesn't, like, care or have respect for you or the dynamic. And so they make some really annoying decisions. We'll say annoying. It might be nasty. That's what I was hearing. Nasty decisions, or decisions that are, like, perhaps trying to hurt you, even if they're not intentional. Maybe I feel like subconsciously they are. Subconsciously, like, you're getting some backlash, and it's challenging you. It's challenging your strength, your courage, your empowerment right now, and what you're going to actually do with it, right? And if you're going to allow something to take you into this place that I don't know, maybe you've healed it. I think this is more about, like, when we're talking about shadow work, I think this is more about lack of belief in self and where we let other people or situations inform our worth and our value. And it looks like something's popping up. And because of how this person's situation presents themselves, it's not a reliable source. It's not someone that you necessarily would or should rely on for your worth and value. But for whatever position they hold in your life, you're giving them some type of credit, some type of accolade. And this is really asking you to not remain confined to that energy. Don't limit yourself, because it's going to make it a little bit harder. It's going to make it harder to stand up against it. I mean, if anything, I feel like the standing up against it is like exiting the situation or taking time apart. You know, everyone can kind of reflect, do whatever processing they need to do. But we end the week with that much more stress and tension. Like, it's pretty consistent throughout the week. The full moon, we actually get a little bit more reprieve. Like, it's not as tense, even though there is a lot of tension lingering around. And I think that kind of goes back to that place. Like, we choose how we want to work with the energy. Astrology really just says, like, this is what's going on, and you can use it to your advantage or to your disadvantage, right? Like, there's tension in the air, but it doesn't mean you're gonna, like, you know, lose your shit. It just means that, like, you might be more apt to, right? But you don't have to. And that's part of the reason why I really love astrology, tarot, all that stuff, because it gives us insight into how we can avoid the messier situations, or how we can stand more in our power is maybe a better way to say it, because I don't think we can ever truly avoid. And I think the places that things are being highlighted, like I was talking about, that tension between Mars and Venus is definitely in full focus this week. That masculine, feminine energy combating one another. Reclaim. Okay, we have the Knight of Cups. I like this. This is a nice offer. This is good. This feels a little bit more settled, even though we're still seeing a lot of tension at the end of the week. I feel like the tension is coming more from the past experiences, whatever this is. Something that's not really being managed, or there's no closure to it this week. It's just a lot of, like, back and forth activity. But then but I think you're also making decisions within self. Like, I feel like the clarity that you're getting this week, it's helping you be more decisive around, like, your wants and your needs and what you're actually going to do as a result of it. And it does look like you get some new good energies coming in. So as much as, like, you might be kind of disappointed about how the energy is moving beginning of the week, at the end of the week, it looks nice. Like, yes, like I talked about, there's our 10 of Pentacles popping up again. I feel like, it feels like it does, like, a whole turn around the wheel. I was going to say 360, but, like, it has this value of, like, you know, you wind up in the same spot as what you started the week, but you're a little bit better off. And whatever's transpiring throughout the week, that's like, things are falling through, or something's not adding up, or you're trying to work something out with someone and they're just refusing to work with you, whatever it is. But then you have something, and I love this because it's under this reclaim energy. You have an offer that's coming in that feels really good. It's Knight of Cups, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, or this is just someone who's really, like, vibing with you, who really likes what you have to offer, you have to bring to the table. If you are looking for love, this could definitely be a love offer. But if it's not love, this is just someone who's, like, really wanting to connect with you, wanting to partner up with you. And it feels like it's not a replacement for whatever this is, but it's definitely in this way where, like, people are being stubborn or inflexible. It's definitely coming in as a result of that, because you're not really getting the flexibility that you want in other situations. And so, like I said, beginning of the week, it's really good to like keep your eyes open. Don't stop is what I'm hearing. Like, you don't have to bulldoze ahead. That's not a good vibe right now. But it's really important to keep the channels open, What was our energy yesterday? Yesterday, it was a lot about like cleansing and purifying, in our wellness reading. So it's staying focused. It's staying on top of the things that you have going on, but not shutting down opportunities or channels, whatever that looks like for you. Like if you're going after a job and you're in negotiations with a job that you do want, continue to look, continue to put your resume out there, continue to be having, networking or talking to people, because I feel like, whether or not you like, if we use the job example, it doesn't have to be resonant with you, but just that energy is what I'm trying to express. If we use that example, you might take that job, the original job, right? But I think it's also like, it's again, not putting all your eggs in one basket or resting on your laurels. There needs to be something that kind of keeps the energy up and running for you. And I think this is directly about like claiming your power. I feel like this is a lot about giving yourself that good energy boost, that good ego boost in a way that's not arrogant or detrimental to the situations that you have going on, but it's a remembrance. It's a remembrance of who you are and that people do want to join up with you. People do want to be a part of you, a part of your life, what you have going on. And it feels like whatever you're dealing with in the beginning of the week is not as open and flexible to that. Not good, bad, right, or wrong. I think that this is just like a dynamic that really still needs a lot of sorting out. It does need care and attention, but again, you can only give it so much attention. And it looks like you're dealing with someone or something that wants you to give it more attention than what you are, but you're also like, well, I have other things going on, or I have other things that do need my attention, or if this job isn't going to work out, then I need to go find another one, that type of thing. And that's why we don't want to necessarily close down anything. And I don't necessarily see you doing that. It could be a stressful week. It could be easy to just hermit a little bit, self-protect. Sometimes when we're getting a lot of pushback in one area, we need a lot of rest and space in others. And that Venus in Virgo is reminding us to do that, making sure that you are taking care of self. You're going to be the most successful when you do. Maybe that goes without saying. But especially with this 8 of Cups. And I feel like this is the thing that you start. 8 of Cups is walking away from toxicity, unhealthy patterns, behaviors, relationships, things that just no longer serve you anymore, things that are making life too emotional when it really just doesn't even have to be that way. And you're making a stance. You're drawing a line in the stand. You're saying no more. And I think this standing up for yourself is exactly what brings in some of this new goodness. I love this Knight of Cups energy for us. For some of you, this could also be someone trying to like mend their ways. I would be cautious around that energy right now. Not that you necessarily want to shut it down. Okay, we have the Emperor, Aries energy. Not that you necessarily want to shut it down, but you want to make sure that you're doing your vetting appropriately. This is someone who maybe is claiming that they're doing better the next go around. Someone is trying to heal something. And I think it might be hard for them to do. The Emperor is never an easy energy to work with. Because it has a lot of, it's drive, it's ambition. It is a little bit of a know-it-all energy, like I know better than you. But I do see someone's trying to heal that. They're trying to heal that, and in a way where I feel like it's, I don't know if you're buying into it. That's what I would say. That's probably, especially with the 4 of Cups. Because when it's very interesting in terms of like manifestation and dealing with different energies. When one energy is limiting, restricting, and then we experience another energy that's abundant, that's thriving, it's like night and day difference, you know? It's like we get this taste of remembrance of like, why am I selling myself short for this limiting thing when there's actually something that's way better off for me, way more in alignment with what I want. It's going to get me to my next space, whatever, the next stepping stone, the next goal I have. And it looks like whomever is trying to heal or whatever this is, I don't know. Like it feels to me like it definitely is a to be determined. Like it's something that you have to wait out and see whether or not it's even worth your time and energy. And I feel like in a lot of ways, it's kind of not at this point, especially if this is an energy that's attached to whatever this is that's manifesting in the beginning of the week. But like I said, I also see some other options. Let's figure out what these other options are for you. There is some money coming in, so you might be getting a little bit of Ace of Cups. I love this. Definitely love vibes. Someone offering their cup to you. But again, it doesn't have to be romantic love. 9 of Swords. Someone's worried about what they will be missing out on, but it's because you are in pursuit of other things. And I think it's maybe even something that like someone's not really expecting, or maybe they feel like they have a little bit more time, or they can play with the energy a little bit longer. And I feel like you're like, I'm seeing you like, okay, this is what it is. And you're just keep pushing forward. You keep pushing forward on your path. And I don't know that someone is expecting that. And it feels like as a result of that, they're watching you do this and they're like, oh shit, like I gotta rein it in a little bit, or I gotta make sure collective, like there is a little bit of desperation. But again, I don't know how much you're paying attention to it, because there is a shift in the energy at the end of the week where another offer or other offers present themselves that might not be the end all be all, but it's a glimpse into the reality of what you can have is what I'm hearing. And yes, it might mean that you do have to push against some energies that feel familiar and comfortable. It might not be the easiest thing for you to do, but at the same time, I'm seeing you really happy if you do take those chances. All right, let's close it out with some of the guidance, intuitive oracle guidance. What does collective need to know for the week? Okay. Balance and harmony. Inner balance amplifies intuition. Stay in harmony with yourself. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe this is just, I think that, and we got this a little bit in the past few readings that we've done the last week or so, but there is this energy of like keeping focus, keeping your eye on the prize, right? Really making sure that you're not allowing the outside, the environment to really dictate how you are doing things. Yes, be conscious, be mindful of it. Take the information that you need so you can show up better for whatever's happening, whatever's going on. But don't let it like inform how you're acting and behaving. If you need to take that step back, Leo energy, it's fire energy. So it's way easier to get pumped up, especially with the full moon. It amplifies everything. And again, there's like the moon is very emotional this week. So things are still feeling a little bit raw. And we're only in the beginning stages of Leo season. So there is still going to be some of that reverberation from Cancer season. And I've seen like a lot of the Cancer energy has popped up and just like taking things personally, right? Like when people aren't really on the same page, or they're not trying to be, and they're not really trying to hide it. And, you know, the silent whisper, listen to the whispers within. Intuition quietly reveals the truth. And I feel like you see that not only not only in your quiet time with self, whatever that looks like for you, but I feel like you're also seeing evidence of that. We saw that with the Hangman. I don't know. Oh, here he is. We saw that with the Hangman coming up a few times, where even if someone or something doesn't have the right approach, or they're approaching something very immaturely, or whatever it is, you can still see through it. You still have some type of empathy, understanding, compassion. But again, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're putting yourself down or you're stopping yourself from doing what you need to do just because someone or something feels a certain way. Yes, like I said, I do see you being empathetic and understanding, and it might make you give someone benefit of the doubt or a little bit more leeway or more time to prove themselves, whatever that looks like. But at the same time, it's making sure that you're not going to any extreme one way or the other. You don't have to completely ghost or ostracize unless it's unsafe, toxic, anything that could put you in harm's way. Then yes, ghost, protect yourself, protect your family, protect children, protect who you need to. But you don't necessarily have to, it's about the happy medium right now. About the happy medium, the golden medium, as Ayurveda calls it. Guardian angel. Your guardian angel watches over you, offering protection and support. We always have, regardless of what you believe, we always have angels, spirit guides around us, crossed over loved ones, spirit, universe, God, however you understand it, that are protecting, that are constantly with us. I mentioned this on another video. I loved it. I was having a conversation with a friend, and she was just talking about how, she'll often pray and ask for things, but then it's like that memory, well, Spirit's always with us, whether we're asking for it or not. When we ask, we give permission for that protection and support. But yes, you do have people in the energetic realm, the angelic realm, however you want to understand it, that are supporting you on your path. And it does feel like if you are coming into questions or you need more clarity, more guidance around certain situations and people this week, then definitely ask for it. Ask for the confirmations that you need, and don't be afraid to receive that. Even if you have to ask the same question 5 different times, if you need a bunch of confirmations, that's okay too. Spirit is always willing to work with us, and in a way where, I'm a huge believer in, I've definitely been in a lot of unsafe things in my life, and, situations with unsafe people, etc. And it really is beautiful how Spirit will have the hand of protection over us. Even when we do have to go through the shitty stuff, even when we do have to be humbled, or we are put in things that really do break our soul or whatever, there is always a way to get out. There's always a way to rise above. There is support. There are so many things that we can do to help ourselves overcome and not necessarily be put down by something. And maybe whatever this is that you're dealing with, it does drain you. It does bring you down. Even though I see a lot of rebellion, which is also very much a full moon in Aquarius energy, even though I do see that you're more comfortable being rebellious and kind of pushing against whatever the status quo is. And I do think that's getting you somewhere. I also think it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. And you might even have to stand up to someone that you put on a pedestal once upon a time, or you thought was better than you, or whatever it may be. And now you're actually stepping into and claiming your power, regardless of what other people think and feel. And as a result, good things are coming in. You're not only able to reclaim your power, but you're also getting some offers in that feel really good, just good for your heart, something that your heart really needs. And it's bringing in support. The 10 of Pentacles is such a beautiful, it's one of the most abundant energies in the tarot. And it is talking about longevity. And I feel whatever you have that's it feels like it's a house built on sand. You don't really know which way it's going to go, when the waves are going to come up and wash out the foundation. That's how this feels. But this feels a little bit more like, okay, I can trust this, or this has good legs underneath it. This has a lot of really good potential, and not being afraid to discover what that potential is. It might be hard for other people. It might not be what they want to see, or, again, the expectations between what you need to give them and what you need to give yourself are a little bit in a disconnect this week. But a lot of it is how much energy, how much weight we're giving to these things. The chains, the quote unquote chains that bind us, the things that we allow to kind of inform or dictate who and what we are, how much courage we have, how much confidence we have as an individual. And it's very much about being able to rise above the people and the situations that are trying to put you down for no reason, or for their own insecurities, their own sad life, whatever that may mean. But I like it. I like it. It's an interesting energy. It is an energy that's going to require a lot of strength, a lot of fortitude this week, but I'm also seeing that you have that within you. You have you're determined. That's what I'm hearing. I think that you're not necessarily penalizing something before you know, but you already kind of know, that type of vibe. So I hope this helps. Thank you so much for your time, energy, always, especially if you've made it this far in the reading. Thank you so much for whoever has joined me. I super appreciate you always. Thank you for all the love and the support to the channel. Just know that it blesses my heart, and I hope that you feel the blessings from the readings as well, that they serve you in some way. Definitely drop comments below. I love to say, hey, I love to interact, see what's going on for you, how things do resonate, or just sharing a little love, little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support to the channel. Please know that it blesses my heart. I hope you have a fabulous week. I will be live Thursday morning for our midweek check-in, and I will be uploading videos accordingly. I might go live, like I said, for the full moon, but that will be to be determined on my schedule, but I'll keep you guys posted. All right. All the love, all the blessings. Talk to you Thursday.